The Israeli army was placed on maximum alert and was fully ready for a U.S. strike last night. The Israeli Air Force was activated during the night for a possible escalation, but it seemed the U.S. called off the attack in the last minute. Israeli Channel 14 said that Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia played a critical role in calling off the U.S. strike on Iran last night. All three countries rejected an escalation and informed the White House that they would not grant U.S. forces their airspaces to strike Iranian territory from. Saudi Arabia was the first of these countries to state this, and being the largest and wealthiest of those countries. The rest were soon to follow suit. And while Saudi Arabia on its own might not hold a ton of weight against the United States government, as soon as it starts to form a coalition amongst other countries such as Qatar and Turkey, it automatically formed a very big problem for the United States, which, as I'll discuss in a minute, they did not think that they could overcome. U.S. intelligence had assessed that if the United States were to conduct a military strike against Tehran, that Iran would retaliate by again attacking military bases in the region. According to U.S. officials briefed on the intelligence, American spy agencies believe that in addition to the base in Qatar, Iran could possibly strike at U.S. forces stationed in bases in Syria, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. And this is exactly why Saudi Arabia and Qatar did not want these strikes to be carried out, because they knew that Iran would start immediately lobbing missiles into their own territory at the U.S. bases that are currently stationed there. And that would be a huge mess that they would have to deal with. An Iranian source reported that a regional partner said Washington has scrapped plans to strike Iran after receiving updated intelligence of the potential fallout of an attack. Iran's foreign minister said that he spoke by phone with Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan. Iran and Saudi Arabia determined that the two countries need to strengthen Iran-Saudi relations, quote, in all areas of mutual interest, end quote, warning that regime change could destabilize the region and create a vacuum that Israel could move to fill in. And Israeli Channel 12 went ahead and reinstated that point to a degree, because they said in a recent news piece that, quote, Israel estimates that if a revolution breaks out in Iran, the fall of Hezbollah will occur within weeks. Israel estimates that if a revolution breaks out in Iran, the fall of Hezbollah will occur within weeks, when the money for salaries, reconstruction, and weapons run out. Israel said that if they were to receive missile strikes from Iran following a U.S. strike, that they would move in to topple the regime, the Iranian regime. Lindsey Graham, following all of the pushback by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iraq, Turkey, he came out in a ton of different press releases stating that he was just disgusted by it and that we should move forward anyways. Of course, Lindsey Graham's faggot ass never once in his life saw a war or a potential war that he could not support and make money off of. I just had to throw that in there, pardon me. Other attack options, such as cyber attack or a strike against Iran's domestic security apparatus, which is using lethal force against protesters, remains more likely, the officials have said. Any attack is at least several days away and could prompt a vigorous retaliation from Iran. Iran's Civil Aviation Authority said the country's airspace is reopening to all arriving, departing, and transit flights. Now, to go back and reiterate the other attack options, such as cyber attack or strikes against Iran's domestic security apparatus, these do still seem likely to me, although Iran is reopening its airspace, because the U.S. would have been very unwise to go ahead and strike without having backups in the region to reinforce those strikes. We currently have an aircraft carrier strike group that consists of an aircraft carrier, 3 other support ships, and I believe 1 or 2 nuclear-armed subs. The USS Abraham Lincoln, I believe, is arriving in the Middle East within the next 5 days. When that aircraft carrier group arrives, the possibility of increased tensions again is far, far more likely. So while we may not see strikes this week, I would not be surprised if we start to see strikes perhaps by, let's just say, next Tuesday or Wednesday.